I'm Joe Catalano with an AM Quincy news update for Tuesday, December 12th. There is a proposal for another recreational marijuana shop in Quincy. An applicant wants to open that shop at 503 Quincy Avenue, the site of a former Burger King restaurant on the Braintree Town line. Attorney David Mahoney will present the plans to the Zoning Board of Appeals today at 6 p.m. at Quincy City Hall. There are also recreational pot shops at the Four River Rotary and on Liberty Street in Quincy. The medical marijuana shop on Raschuti Drive has also expressed an interest in selling recreational marijuana. The Quincy Planning Board will meet tomorrow to review plans to create a new district to allow for more multifamily housing around the Quincy Adams and North Quincy T stations. A new state law requires MBTA communities to provide a certain amount of multifamily housing around MBTA stations. To comply with the law, Quincy may have to add at least 10,000 more units of housing. The Planning Board will review a plan to create an overlay district in certain areas around the Quincy Adams T station and the North Quincy station. The board will meet tomorrow at 6 p.m. at Quincy City Hall. Then the City Council will review that same proposal during a meeting next Monday night at 6:30 at City Hall. Quincy must have a plan in place by the end of the year in order to comply with the state law. State Street Corporation is laying off 1,500 employees. It was unclear yesterday at which company locations those layoffs would occur and how many of the eliminated positions would be based in Massachusetts or New Hampshire. The Global Financial Services and Bank Holding Company has several locations in the Bay State, including Boston, North Quincy, Burlington, and Cambridge, as well as Nashua, New Hampshire. The layoffs were announced on December 6th by State Street Vice Chairman and Chief Financial Officer Eric Aboaf during the Goldman Sachs U.S. Financial Services Conference. As a result, the company will take a repositioning charge of approximately $175 to $200 million, which includes an expense primarily related to the reduction in workforce. In announcing the layoffs, both discussed State Street's key focus areas aimed at propelling their strategy forward, building market share, and positioning the company for long-term success. State Street, which is headquartered at 1 Congress Street in Boston, has operations worldwide. State transportation officials have secured a special federal waiver to inspect the Massachusetts rail network with long-distance drone flights when the aircraft is not within the operator's sight, and it's looking into how it could eventually use drones to create highways in the sky. By being allowed to fly uncrewed aircraft beyond visual line of sight or away from the remote drone operator's field of vision, State Department of Transportation says its drone operations program will more efficiently be able to collect data on more than 1,000 miles of rail, so it can spot things like overgrown trees and vegetation and contribute to storm management efforts. MassDOT announced the sweeping waiver issued by the FAA last Friday. A previous waiver allowed MassDOT to fly drones without visual sight over the Fitchburg line on the MBTA commuter rail. General Manager Philip Eng says the waiver was the product of years of close work with federal officials. Some immigrants in Massachusetts will be able to access SNAP benefits after lawmakers approved millions of dollars in funding under the supplemental budget. Covered under the legislation are residents who are not citizens but are in the immigration process or already maintain legal status, including recently arrived migrants and those who've already been here for a long time. In total, $6 million was being allocated to cover the expansion under the recently approved supplemental budget. According to the state, the program will be in effect until the funds are exhausted, and retroactive payments will be issued until the date of signing the law, which occurred at the beginning of the month. The state says that by spring 2024, it anticipates having all the necessary changes in place for the program to take effect. State lawmakers discussed a bill yesterday that would expand the amount of care an EMT could give to police dogs when they are hurt in the line of duty. It would allow EMTs to provide advanced life support and transport injured canines to veterinary clinics. The bill is a modification of Nero's Law, which was named after a Yarmouth canine who was shot in 2018. Nero and his partner, Sergeant Sean Gannon, were executing a search warrant with other officers in Barnstable. When they were both shot, Gannon was killed during the incident. EMTs were not able to treat Nero on scene, and he was not allowed to be transferred to a veterinary clinic in an ambulance due to state law. Nero was taken to a clinic to undergo emergency surgery in the back of a police cruiser. Nero's Law requires EMTs to take a 3-hour training course on treating animals. The courses were improved in August of 2022 with a deadline of February 2023. Some ambulance services requested a year-long delay. A warning for holiday travelers to be prepared for the rush this year. AAA expects airport travel to exceed pre-pandemic levels this season. The U.S. saw a record number of passengers during the holidays in 2019, with 7.3 million people. AAA predicts we'll see 200,000 more travelers than that this year. They say air travel has been up all year, with summer bookings on AAA up 40 to 80%, depending on the location. The rush is carrying into the holidays. Last year, travel was marred by delays and cancellations due to staffing issues with TSA and air traffic controllers. AAA says many of those issues are improving, but people should still plan ahead by downloading their airline's app for up-to-date information and alerts. On average, AAA says flights are roughly 35% more expensive than last year. They predict the priciest tickets this season will come on December 23rd and the Thursday after Christmas. A traffic note, the Four River Bridge is scheduled to open Tuesday at 10 a.m. and Wednesday at 1 p.m. Check of business news. Stocks are higher. The Dow is up 157. The Nasdaq rose 28. The S&P is up 18. Asian stocks also advanced. The dollar fell. The euro rose. Oil almost $72 a barrel. Sports, the Celtics will host the Cavaliers at 7:30 tonight. Forecast from the National Weather Service. Today, mostly sunny, high of 43 degrees. For tonight, partly cloudy, low 30. Tomorrow, mix of sun and clouds, high 41. Sunny on Thursday, but a high only 34. And then rebounding Friday, sunshine, a high 48. Out on the water, waves about 2 feet. Southwest wind 10 to 15, gusting to 20 knots. High tide 10:23 a.m. Sunrise 7:03, sets at 4:11. I'm Joe Catalano with an AM Quincy news update for Tuesday, December 12th.